He is back. The King of Rio is back. Jose Aldo is back. He came back against Jonathan Martinez after he retired a few years ago, and he put on an absolutely great performance.
It was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
And I'm not going to lie to you, going into this fight, I was kind of scared. You know, Jose Aldo coming back from retirement after a few years, now being 37 years of age, you know, you can't really... When you see fighters who are a bit older in the lower weight categories, you know, you can get away with it in heavyweight, being in your late 30s, 40s. Same goes for light heavyweight, and at a push middleweight as well. But when it comes down to the lower weight categories, where you rely a lot more on speed and reaction times, that's usually what ends up going away first when you get older. I was a bit scared going into this. You know, Jonathan Martinez looked absolutely fantastic against Adrian Yanez, and I was very scared that Martinez was going to be able to inflict a lot of damage on Jose Aldo and be too fast for him, but thankfully that wasn't the case. Because Jose was able to put an absolute clinic on Jonathan Martinez. He didn't look rusty at all. He wasn't really struggling in any sort of sense. I don't really remember any success from Jonathan Martinez. It was all Aldo's way. Everything went his way. And in the third round, he was able to rock Jonathan Martinez and was able to get a horrible double leg takedown. It looked like it was a disrespectful takedown. He just picked him up and fucking threw Jonathan Martinez to the ground like it was nothing. And again, just completely dominated. It was an absolutely fantastic performance. And now that Aldo is back, I do wonder what he's going to do next. Because he has entered the rankings in the bantamweight division, and he's now ranked 8th in that division, and it makes me wonder who he's going to fight next. Obviously, he could do a rematch between him and Chito Vera, but I know they want to make Chito versus Peter Yan, and that'll likely happen later on in the year. Obviously, Chito just got absolutely battered by Sean O'Malley, so maybe give him a bit of time off, let him heal. Same goes for Peter Yan. He had a lot of injuries going into the fight against Song Yadong, and it's probably only aggravated those injuries, so he won't be back until later on in the year. If you're Jose Aldo, I wouldn't be surprised if he wants to get straight back in there. Again, he didn't really take any damage against Jonathan Martinez, so it wouldn't surprise me at all if he wants to get straight back in there. It's all about who he wants to get in there with. Right above him is Song Yadong, rank 7, obviously coming off that loss against Peter Yan. I'd imagine he would want to get straight back in there. You know, he took a bit of damage, nothing too significant though, really. Nothing like Chito Vera against Sean O'Malley. So that's a fight what would make sense. A fight I would personally like to see, and it maybe doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's something I've always wanted to see, is Jose Aldo taking on Dominic Cruz. You know, two WEC boys, you know, ran the divisions, arguably the GOAT of their... No, fuck that. The GOAT of their divisions, you know. Dominic Cruz, the GOAT of the 135 division, whereas Jose Aldo, the GOAT of the featherweight division, the 145 division. I think this would be a great fight. I can't really think of any more perfect timing for it. Before he retired, I wanted to see that fight. And now again, now that he's back, I want to see that fight. I think Aldo would beat Dominic Cruz, if I'm being completely honest. But it would just be a very interesting fight, and I think a lot of hardcore MMA fans would really enjoy that fight as well. But can Jose Aldo make another title run? I think he can. You know, he's only lost to Marlon Moraes, where a lot of people thought that Marlon Moraes should have lost that fight and Jose Aldo should have won. He's lost to Peter Yan. No shame in that. That's when Peter Yan was on the come up and was able to win the bout. And he's lost to Merab Dvalishvili, again the #1 contender right now, and should be taking on Sean O'Malley later on this year. So I don't see why he shouldn't. You know, again, he just looked great. He looked great in his performances at bantamweight regardless. And I think it makes sense that he makes a push for that title again. It all depends on who he fights next. But imagine if Jose Aldo was able to secure that feel-good moment when he becomes a 2-weight division champion. You know, obviously was a former featherweight champion and was able to get the gold at bantamweight. I think it will be one of the best feel-good moments in UFC history, and I think a lot of fans would love to see it. And this could possibly happen, but he's got a lot of good opponents right in front of him. But I want to see what you guys think about Jose Aldo's return and whether you're excited about him potentially having another title run in the bantamweight division. If you have enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.